Cuckoo. We're Isabel and Kim, girlfriends living in France, chatting about everything going on in our lives. Come hang out with us while we cheers with an Aperol Spritz, swap stories, get into some deep talks, and share what we've learned along the way. If you like our podcast, please share it with a friend and feel free to leave us a review and subscribe.
Yay. Happy Monday in June.
Happy Monday. Oh, it's June.
It's June.
Okay,
officially.
flying by.
June 2nd, I think, today. Yes, it's flying by. Our kids have 3 weeks left of school. Wait, Isabel's very proud of her large American purchase of the Stanley water bottle.
Sorry, I don't know what it is. I can only drink ice cold water since I've been pregnant out of it.
It's good. It's probably good.
And I never drink ice cold water. I always drink room temperature water. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, it's the American in you.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Well, did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, we had a 4-day weekend
Yes.
because there was bank holiday Thursday and then it was the bridge on Friday. See, we actually had a great weekend. We went to, I can't remember what we did Thursday. I definitely did something Thursday. Friday, we went to the beach.
Fun.
And it was beautiful,
so
like
nice.
95
Had
degrees.
like the best weather.
But a nice little breeze.
Yep.
Went swimming. The water's cold, but like feels really nice. And then Saturday, nothing much. But then yesterday we hung out.
Yeah, it was fun. There was
a little what we did.
Yeah, there was a little event at Terra Ugo. I think we've mentioned that on the podcast before. We can put it in the show notes. Really fun place to go. I would say if you're visiting X, it's basically just lavender fields, but they have food trucks and music and
they do a bunch of, it's like a big lavender
Yeah.
field and then they do a bunch of events. So during the summer, I think like every Thursday, Friday night, they have the aperos
Yep.
or picnics, whatever. They do some, like you can book like dinner in the lavender field.
Oh, I've never done that. That sounds
I've never
amazing.
done that either. It's kind of expensive, but
Okay.
it's like one long table down the field and it's
Oh,
at night.
nice.
Yesterday they had, it was called like the Marché de Producteurs. So it was different regional, like people who make things like different wines. They had food
great.
stands. And then there was like some chef displays. There
Oh,
were
yeah,
people
a famous
like
chef?
cooking instructions. No,
Yeah.
cooking demonstrations.
Demonstrations.
And then they had a bunch of food to eat and there was a DJ.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we had a
Kids,
good
and the
time.
kids really like it because they can just, there's like a parking lot, but it's pretty, like they can just run around.
Like it's
Safe
very safe
and,
and it's pretty
They have their
organized.
freedom. The adults can hang and
Yeah, it's
drink
great.
a little bit.
Have
It's
a
good.
little rosé. It was
Yeah.
great. Yeah, we had a good day, and then we also were at the beach a different day from you, but just loving going down to the Mediterranean right now. It's so pretty.
It's really nice. And you went to Bruce Springsteen.
Oh yes,
too.
And we had friends of ours who bought us tickets to the Bruce Springsteen concert in Marseille, which was like a cultural experience in and of itself. Like I had no idea how many French people were obsessed with Bruce Springsteen. Like know every word, like just dancing, so excited.
That's so funny.
And it was so interesting because they have all of the words like as he's singing in French subtitles. So like
No way.
Born in the USA is in French subtitles.
That's so funny.
And I was kind of laughing, and I the only ones here that are actually born in the USA. But anyways, so it was a fun weekend. And the weather's been like amazing. We've been really enjoying. We have like a pool in our backyard. The kids have been having a great
bet.
time. So
nice.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm a little freaked out by how hot it is so early. It's been like in the 90s the past 4 days,
Yes.
and June just started. So.
And at least you have air conditioning at your house. We
Yeah.
have no air conditioning, and the nights are already like steamy.
Oh my gosh.
So
I
yeah,
bet.
I'm not looking forward to this like continuing as humid as it
I'm
is,
just
but-
sort of like trying to imagine myself 8 months pregnant in August here because like we're not going anywhere, and I'm just like,
But honestly, I think you'll just have to like do air conditioning inside, do like a little something outside. But there's, I've realized there's plenty of places in X that are air conditioned. Like we had an air conditioned lunch on Friday. Like just
You did?
Yeah, and it was lovely, and the kids were so happy because they go, it's so cold in here.
Oh, that's
so I think
nice.
you can find places.
Yeah.
You'll make it work. Yes.
yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be a hot summer.
Oh, it's gonna be a hot summer, but yes.
And then you're going away tomorrow.
Yes, I'm leaving. This is very interesting for me. As I mentioned, I think a few weeks ago on the podcast, I'm been trying to write a book and
It's
been in
really
touch with like
good.
editors. Thank you.
Really, really good. I'm not just saying that.
Oh, you're so sweet. No, I'm like very much enjoying it. It's like a passion for me. And anyways, my husband, as part of like a Christmas present, bought me a writing retreat, which he thought would be really good. And I agree, like just to like have the headspace and time, because it's sort of like a zone you have to get into. and just something I'm like personally really interested in. So I'm actually flying to Mallorca for a week with people I've never met and an author from the UK and an editor who are helping people write their book during this week. So I'll let you guys
And you're
know.
staying in a house with them all together?
Yes, I'm definitely a little like, I would say I'm getting a little like social anxiety about, it's just very outside of my comfort zone too.
I mean, I think there's going to be at least one person that you really get on with.
I hope so. I mean,
And at least you have your own private room.
Yes,
So,
yes.
if you need to like have a moment.
no, you're right. I could have booked a shared room, but that was really outside of my comfort zone. So
Yeah, I would
just
not have
did the
done that.
private room. And yeah, it'll just be, I think I'm definitely noticing my own like tendencies to gravitate toward things that are like comfortable or people or wanting someone that I know, like you to go there or my husband.
You don't want me
but-
writing. I am a terrible writer.
But I'm thinking this will be really good for me. Every time I've done something that scares me a little bit, like it's usually a really good growth experience.
I think it's be
So
awesome. I'm proud of you. I think it's
Thank
going to be
you.
a great week. And
I hope so.
I can't wait to read more chapters.
I maybe FaceTiming you
Maybe
from there.
maybe you can send me. I hope you have new chapters to read.
Oh,
when
I
you get
definitely.
back.
I've even
Okay.
got some more for you now. So
Okay,
yes.
cool.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Shall we dive in today?
Yes. What are we talking
Okay.
about?
Today we are talking about how kids eat in France and our own observations, both from me, like having moved from the US and how my kids are eating differently. And obviously, Isabel, you have tons of experience with food culture, your daughter like eating both the French way and a bit of the American way.
Yeah.
So we thought we would talk about it in a few different ways today. One, just kind of like go through the day of like breakfast. We'll compare and contrast school lunches. We'll go into some snacking culture of what it's like in France versus the US. Then we'll talk a little bit about restaurants, and we both have some fun stories to share.
Okay.
Yay.
Sounds good. Should I start with my story from when I was doing my internship?
Sure. Why
in
don't
New
you
York?
start
Because
there?
I feel like that's sort of like my intro to kids' food
Yes.
and how they're eating. So I'll keep it kind of short.
Okay.
But when I was because I went and got a master's in nutrition so that I could become a dietitian. And in order to be a dietitian, you have to do a year long of internships. And you spend part of it in a hospital. You kind of bounce around to a million different places and see sort of all the areas where nutritionists
So cool.
work. I did 2 weeks on school lunches. And so I spent 1 week in the Bronx.
Okay.
And I spent, actually, maybe it wasn't a full week. Maybe it was more like, it was a half week. I don't remember.
Okay.
And then I spent the other part of it at a very, very fancy Upper East Side private school
Okay.
in the kitchen in both places.
So interesting.
And for me, this was such an eye-opening experience because it was a really crazy contrast to go from the school in the Bronx to then see what the kids who obviously are very well off
Right.
on the Upper East Side are eating. And it was shocking. I mean,
bet.
the kids in the Bronx, I would say everyone was
Yeah.
eating school food. And it was, I think they have free lunches. There's
In
like a free
public
lunch
schools? Okay.
program in New York City. And there's also a breakfast program too. So I think they said that like 80% of their kids are eating breakfast and lunch at
Okay.
school. So this is like an opportunity for kids to get some healthy food.
Yeah, for sure.
And like we were just doing, like the US is doing a terrible job at
Yeah.
serving those needs. The food was crazy. It would be just like pizza, and not even like nice pizza, frozen pizza, like Elio's
Yeah.
pizza with French fries. The tomato sauce would count as the vegetable.
Oh, it's not a vegetable.
For breakfast, they would have Pop-Tarts, packaged donuts, packaged muffins. There was almost nothing fresh. And then you compare this to the like organic,
Yeah.
fully like so many different options,
Yeah.
food that these kids on the Upper East Side who most likely are eating really well at home too.
For sure.
And it was just such a different experience, and it just felt so kind of unfair.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, there's just such a difference between where you're growing up and where you're going to
Yeah,
school
for
in
sure.
the US. And then that summer I went and I did like a study abroad 3-week
Okay.
study of the Mediterranean diet. And this
So
was my
awesome.
first experience on how European kids are eating.
Okay.
Because up until this point I was like, okay, so if you're in the US and your parents have
Yeah.
money, you're probably
eat well.
eating fine. If you're in the US and they don't, then you're getting fed terrible foods
Yeah.
and very, very little fresh produce. If you're having any kind of vegetable, it's most likely frozen. Not that frozen food is bad
No,
because,
but-
it's fine, but or canned, but
Right.
you're not getting fresh
Right.
foods. And then I went to Italy, and we spent a day. We were invited to have lunch at a public school in a very small town in Italy, like a rural town. And it was, I was like so shocked. We went in and sat down. There was a chef at the school. He prepared like a full course meal. There was pasta, there was fresh vegetables, there was homemade bread. They had nice yogurts. And then for dessert, everyone went out and they like picked cherries. They had a bunch of fruit trees planted at the school, and they're like it was cherry season. So we went and picked cherries, and all the kids picked their cherries, and then everyone came in and ate, and that was dessert. And I was like, whoa, it's not like they have tons of money these aren't like the Upper East Side equivalents. Like this is just a normal working class, small Italian town. But look what their kids get to eat for lunch. And they're going home having had like a real meal. And they're having like cherries from their backyard of their school.
So great.
And so then I was like, this is just, there's just so many different things out there. And now, of course, like I didn't know at that point. I actually met my husband after that trip.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. But now I've ended up like living, I never thought at that point that I was going to have any experience with this myself, but obviously I ended up here, and my daughter has kind of like done the whole food thing from daycare to school now.
So interesting.
And it's very different. And I've gone through phases where I'm like, the US can make a change. And now I'm kind of at a point where like, we'll get into this maybe later on, but I sort of don't see how a change can be made in the US at this point.
Yeah.
I feel
there's a lot of
cultural
about it. Differences, I think, that are also similar observations to yours. But yeah, I would say for us, this has been a big change of like my kids, like my daughter was 4 when we moved here, and at school she was being served like 3-course meals using like glass plates, like real silverware, glasses.
In France or
in
the
France?
US?
Sorry, in France. And then I'll talk about like what it was like in the US for us. But I was just shocked that like they would never allow that in the US for people to be like 4-year-olds to have glass, like would be like every teacher's nightmare, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting. Like my kids like come home and they have learned to like cut with a fork and knife at like 4 years old. Like that's and the lunch like for them is actually like enjoyable. It's not something to be rushed through. Like I think in France right now they get a full hour for lunch. And my son, for example, when we moved here, he was 6, was super happy about that because he had started at a kindergarten that goes through 8th grade in the United States. And his lunch, for example, like was 20 minutes, and he'd be like rushed through lunch, and he'd come home and he'd say, I was still so hungry, but they wouldn't let me get seconds because lunchtime was over. And it's just like
kids eat slow. And like, why do we want kids to eat so fast?
I know. And it's like I think because the days are shorter, they're like trying to like rush in a lot of things is what my observation was. But they allowed, they actually looked for family volunteers. This is also very different, I think, than France. Like you had to sign up to volunteer at the like canteen cafeteria for your child, like at least once a month or once every 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. So you were the ones like helping kids at the salad bar to help like them get their food on their plate. You had to help them like, you know, if they wanted seconds to like be like, hey, could somebody help? We need seconds here. Like, and then you help with all the cleanup. And so it's very much, and it's also, I think, look, do they really need the parents' help? Probably not. But they would say it's also an opportunity for you to like spend time with your child and their, you know, classmates, which I don't know. I kind of liked, but I was also like, oh, it's like, it was so chaotic. Like it was I would say like now compared to how like, I think my kids eat in France, we're not really allowed in the canteen here, but they just, it's very frenetic and fast, and it's like rushed and on to the next, you know? So I do think that's kind of a hard thing for kids in the US to constantly, like, I think it sort of leads to anxiety of like, you got to rush through this, eat this, get through this, on to the next. And I don't know, my kids at least never complain about like that they didn't have enough time to finish their food, for example. So observations, I would say, of like the time difference between how much time kids have in the US versus here. And then just that, I think you made a good point. Like kids are actually taught like how to eat versus just
I think this is
rush
like
through
probably,
the meal.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the biggest like fundamental differences is that the lunch hour isn't just seen as like a time to eat. It's a time to like learn how to eat.
Yeah, which is so interesting.
And keep in mind, kids start school when they're 3 years old here. So they're like learning how to like eat amongst other people. They're learning to taste different things. And I think the other thing here is you don't, in the US, you can pack your lunch, I think, at most schools. Or you can eat at school, but here you can either go home for lunch or you have to eat what's at school, which I think is so powerful when all the kids have to eat the same thing, because so much of like kids trying, so like kids can be scared to try foods that look different, but then if they see their friend is trying it and is like, oh, this tastes good, they're so much more likely to try it versus like a parent being like, try this, try this. And so it's kind of just this really nice balance of they get exposed to so many different types of foods at a young age. Maybe they don't eat any of it, maybe they eat all of it, but at least they see everyone eating the same thing. And I think that's so powerful to learning how to develop your palate.
Agree.
Plus, they learn how to use a real fork and knife. How that, like, when you eat a meal, you sit at a table. There's no like, I don't know. I mean, we do some TV dinner sometimes, but I just feel like it puts you on track to like, if you're eating, like you're sitting, you're taking a moment, you're not rushing, you're enjoying like a full course meal. And then, you know, like they learn how to like manners too. It's like you have to say please and thank you. And you have to ask for more and you clear your plate at the end. And I think all of those things are such valuable lessons. And I think it's also why Americans are sometimes shocked when they eat out at restaurants in Europe and see kids like at the table kind of participating in the meal. But they have to remember, like, this is kind of like what they've learned. Like that's what they know.
For sure.
And I just think it's great, like lessons for kids to grow up with. And I think because they have that food culture at school and they also have it reinforced at home, it just creates a really healthy environment with food as opposed to how things happen in the US.
Yeah, it's so true. And related to that is the type of food they're eating. Like maybe we could walk through like a sample menu of the day.
I'll do a menu.
And then I can grab the US one too.
Um
And then maybe comparing it, like also you have a good story about like your daughter from daycare and what she was eating and now being like a little bit older and she's in school and kind of the differences there. I thought were interesting.
To be honest, except for when they're babies, I mean, it's honestly all pretty much the same.
Oh, it is? Okay.
It's like the same kind of structure.
Okay.
The difference is like when they're babies, they like puree some of the food. They adapt like the textures of it.
Okay.
But basically every day, like they always have like a starter, which is usually a salad. And then they have a main dish with like a vegetable side and a grain side. And then they always have bread. And then they always have dessert, which is either like an actual dessert or maybe it's a yogurt or maybe it's yogurt and fruit, but there's something like that. So for example, this is, I'll read a sample menu. And when you look at the menus, most of the stuff is organic. The meat is like the elevated label, so it means it was raised correctly, no antibiotics. Fish is like fished dirt, like
Durag.
No, it's like there's a special, I forget what it's called, I'm blanking. There's like a label for health, like well caught fish, so it's not like fish farm fish.
Got it.
Okay, so we can start with this week. So on Monday for lunch, they started with avocados and tomatoes with a vinaigrette. And then the main meal was vegetarian chili with bulgur. And then dessert was an île flottante, which is like it's kind of like I don't know how to describe it. I think it's like an egg white.
I was going to say, I've seen it on a menu, but I've never ordered it.
Anglaise. It's really good.
Okay.
And then they have bread. And then the next day they had a salad with croutons and cheese and a vinaigrette. And then lunch was sauteed pork with organic green beans. Then they had quinoa with almonds in it. Dessert was a clafoutia with cherries, which is kind of like an egg, cheese, sugar, sort of like a flan type thing. Wednesday they had like little toasts with goat cheese on it. Then they had organic tomato sauce with raviolis. They had a yogurt and they had an organic fruit of the season. So like they do a lot of, it's like the foods that they're eating are what's in season, which I also think is really cool too. And it makes sense for the school because, you know, when it's in season, it's cheaper.
For sure.
Thursday they had I'm translating it as I read if it sounds like I can't read. They had cabbage, a salad with cabbage and corn. And then they had beef carpaccio.
Wow.
And then they had with potatoes. And I actually have no idea what this other option is. I think when they offer beef, they offer a substitute, but I don't even know.
Okay.
Or an organic fruit with some bread. And then Friday they had salad with potatoes, tomatoes, eggs, pickles, and mayonnaise. And then they had barbecue chicken. Interesting.
Wow, that's interesting.
Peas, an organic Gouda cheese, an apple sauce, and bread.
I mean, this, if you think about it, this is food that you and I would eat and be like very happy with this meal.
Yes. I remember one day in Paris, I looked at the menu and she was having, it was before Easter, so they would always do fish on Fridays.
Oh, yeah.
And she was having like mussels.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
And she was like 2 or 3.
She was 3.
And she tried it at least?
I mean, I have no idea. Who knows? Maybe she ate them, maybe she didn't. But the fact that they're like offering kids mussels is so cool.
Great. It's so cool. It's interesting. So my sister teaches at like a really nice public school in a suburb of Chicago, and she packs her own lunch as a teacher, but she said they do offer hot lunch. And so I thought it would be interesting to kind of like, Isabel had this menu and then I have the menus of what is served in the US. So I'll just kind of read a couple of these.
Okay.
They're in English, so I can hopefully
read faster.
Okay. So like a Monday is baked mac and cheese with green beans and milk. Tuesday is a chicken soft taco with tomatoes, shredded cheese, and fresh fruit. Wednesday's a cheeseburger with American cheese, which we know is not really cheese. Seasonal vegetables, chips, and milk. And then it seems like Thursday is consistently a cheese pizza day, every day of every month. With, this is better, a small salad and some fresh fruit.
Yeah.
The one that I guess we were the most shocked by was Friday is a chocolate chip bagel with cream cheese for lunch. And then
that's breakfast.
Yeah, this is the lunch menu, but yes,
that's shocking.
Yes. And they get a string cheese, I guess some protein, and then veggies. And then that actually is consistently on Friday. And then sometimes they have dino tenders, which they put in parentheses, all white meat.
Okay.
In case, I guess, people were concerned. And then baked chips, but then mini corn dogs are on a menu, crispy chicken sandwiches, mini blueberry waffles with chicken sausage, syrup, veggies, fruit, and you could substitute fries. My sister said that mini blueberry waffle day and cheese pizza day are the 2 most popular when like 90% of the kids will take those 2 days. Meatball subs. What was the other one?
Sounds good.
I think it's just
Look, the one I'm really hung up on is the chocolate chip bagel with vegetables on the side,
which is like 4 times a month.
That's shocking. But the chicken soft taco, I could eat that right now.
Or the Caesar pasta chicken salad. I don't know. Anyways, it was just interesting because I think this honestly is probably a very like good menu for the U.S.
Yep.
Compared to probably some schools, but to your point, like my son was at a private school in the U.S. and he was, again, it was like a chef with like all the organic and every kind of substitution. Like it was California. So it's like, are you gluten-free, lactose intolerant? Like they had like 10 different types of milk, like soy, almond, oat, etc. So kids are like constantly, I would say, like given choice, like to be like, if you don't eat this, they've got this. If you don't like this, you've got this. And I just think in some ways, yes, it's good to be accommodating, but in other ways, like all that choice, like sometimes more choice is actually more overwhelming for
especially
a child.
with small children. I feel like that's the kind of thing that sends them into like a headspin.
Yeah. Versus like,
here's what's
right
for
now,
lunch.
here's what's for lunch.
Yeah.
And if they don't like the main dish, there's always bread, there's always fruit, right? Like they can have some things, but I just think, sometimes it goes the opposite way where like the US, I think, thinks they're like being really helpful for that child. And in some ways it's actually like overwhelming the child with too much choice. So
yeah, I think the thing that stands out to me the most about the menu is like, there's almost nothing on there that I, as an adult, would make myself for lunch.
Same.
Whereas when you look at the French one,
no, you're so right.
I would probably eat most of those things.
Same.
Like they sound really good, but I don't know, for lunch, I'm not having like we have tacos for dinner some night,
Same.
but I'm not having like a corn dogs or baked mac and cheese for lunch.
No.
It seems more like the food is, or especially the chocolate chip bagel.
Yeah.
Like I've never had a chocolate chip bagel in my life. I love bagels.
You've
but
never
that's
had a chocolate chip bagel?
no,
Oh, they're so good.
really.
Yeah.
Like, and you have them with cream cheese.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, no, I've never had that, but it seems like it's really geared towards kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas I feel like in France, there's not like a distinction between kids' food and adult food.
And I think this also, like, I think part of the reason you and I wouldn't eat this is like, it's pretty like unhealthy. And like, I feel like it could lead to like the obesity issues. Like I wouldn't be eating like mac and cheese every day or corn dogs.
Yeah.
Like that just versus like, of course I'd eat quinoa like for lunch during the day.
Quinoa with almonds.
With almonds
Yeah.
sounds great. So I think there's a bit of like the health aspect to it that this is definitely not as healthy.
I would love to see the reaction of a French mom or dad, like seeing what the American menu looks like, you know?
I think they'd be a little astonished. In fact, I have an interesting story to share about that. We threw my son a birthday party in France. So it was his 7th birthday. We invited most of his class, actually all of his class, who most of them are French. I would say like 70, 80% of them are French. And it was at like a, what do you call that? Zip lining place.
Okay.
So I had to pack lunch for the kids and I brought a cake and it was all like outside at a picnic. And I remember thinking like, oh, these are children. Like I'm going to pack so many like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And then, oh, I should probably have like meat. Like, oh, I'll do like some ham and cheese. And I remember like I packed so many of the like peanut butter and jelly and just like a few of the ham. And the French children looked at this when I put down the lunch and they go, what is this? What is this? like qu'est-ce que ça? Like in French. And I was like, it's peanut butter and jelly. It was like so bizarre. And the ham, they like attacked in like 1 second.
Gone
like
in a minute.
Gone in a minute.
It's so funny.
And it was funny because my husband was joking. He's like, who's going to eat that ham sandwich as a child? And next thing you know, the ham was the most popular dish. So just like cultural differences, like my assumptions are clearly different than a French child's assumptions of what consists of a nice lunch.
Yeah, it's so
So
funny.
good to know.
I also feel like sandwiches in France are really for like picnics.
Yeah, and I mean,
know
I
what I
guess
mean?
to be fair, this was we were on
Well,
picnic
yeah, no, but
tables.
it makes sense for this, like for eating out.
Yes.
But like, I just because I don't know, I love
No, you're
sandwiches.
so right.
You
They
know, I
don't-
love
Look,
sandwiches. Like
I
I make
know you love
sandwiches all the
sandwiches.
time for lunch,
I
but
know.
I feel like most French people are having like a real meal. If they're at home or at work, they're having a real meal.
you're
A
so
sandwich is
right.
more like an on-the-go food, so like a picnic or like a.
I've never noticed that, but you're so right. Like I never see
Like, there's
French
not, like,
people
sandwich
eating a sandwich,
shops.
and you can't like buy a sandwich to go, like
Yeah.
just at like a normal.
Yeah,
And there's not like delis.
like I would love a deli sandwich.
I know you would. I think you need a fix back to the U.S. and
Yeah.
go to like a really good New York deli. I think a couple other things we wanted to touch on, and I'll just share my observations like of having moved from the U.S. to France. So breakfast in the morning for my family in the U.S. used to be like kind of like fancy frozen waffles or like those little pancakes, like mostly from Whole Foods. And I would just like quick heat them up in the microwave in the morning and then like be like, okay, let's rush out the door. Like, and sometimes they would eat it in the car, honestly, like if we were short on time. And here you can find some frozen waffles, but like, honestly, I don't think they're that great. And my kids don't love them. So now every Sunday I make one of like 4 options for the week and I just make a big batch. So I either do like from scratch, like Belgian waffles, homemade pancakes, crepes. Like I'll make the batter and then just, heat them up and then cook them up in the morning. Or my kids are really into like this oatmeal bake with like, I hide chia seeds in there and, things that they don't know with fruit. And it's interesting because it's just made the mornings like so much easier. And I feel like they're eating so much healthier just because it's like real food. Like I'm using real ingredients. And it's a little more work on Sundays, but my mornings are so much smoother because I'm just like, and they know, like, there's no like, do you want this or this in the morning? You want this or this? It's like, this is our week of waffles. Next week's our week of pancakes or whatever.
Easy,
so,
one last thing to think about.
one last thing to think about. So I think it's something I wish I honestly would have adopted in the US too, versus I was spending a lot of money on like packaged breakfast foods that, And it was still a debate in the morning. Like, I want a little bit of that waffle, and then I want those 2 pancakes, and can you also make me toast? And it's like, whoa, 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 you know? So anyways, that's just one, I'd say like one thing I've just done differently here, which I am actually appreciating.
I think one thing, because when I started, like when my daughter started eating food, I feel like I was still so much closer to having done my, like, now I'm so far out from having done the dietitian stuff.
Oh, right.
So I feel like I really started with more of like the American way of like making sure that every day for breakfast she had like some
Protein,
eggs, or she had some fruit, and then she had some
smart.
bread. And so I made really balanced. And I actually think when they start eating, like there is like, I think it's
For sure.
great to, if you had, and I had so much more time because I wasn't working that much. And I really did like nice homemade breakfasts every day, like
awesome.
different varied
Good for
things.
you.
And then even I feel like I did that for a while. And then I would say more the last, like since we've moved,
Okay.
we just have less time in the morning. And I've also noticed that my daughter's just not like, she doesn't have her a big appetite in the morning.
Yeah.
And so then if I'm making all this food, like she
It's
just
just a
doesn't,
waste.
she just doesn't like have the appetite for it. And who wants to eat like the big egg sandwich, whatever, like scrambled eggs, if you're just not that hungry.
It's
and
so true.
I feel like most days now we do like a plain yogurt, and then like often she'll just have a piece of toast.
Oh,
or
that's great.
I make pancakes probably once a week,
Okay.
but more on the weekends.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we have cereal. She'll do like a yogurt bowl sometimes, but I would say that I don't, like, I'm not trying to do like eggs, fruit. Like she rarely has any kind of fruit before breakfast.
Yeah.
But I also don't feel that pressure because I know that they have
Same.
a nice lunch, and I always have like a good dinner. Like I always make sure that I have like a good dinner for us at home. So I feel like breakfast is kind of just like
yeah. No, it's interesting. I
Not that big
used
of a
to
deal.
worry in the U.S. so much about like protein in the morning.
Well,
Like,
because in the U.S., everyone's like, if you don't start your day with a healthy, nutritious meal, then you're not set up to learn. And I don't know. I've kind of done both, and I feel like, I don't know.
I think because they're getting like a lot better lunches at school, I don't feel the need to like rush protein in or like things in the morning, because I'm like, they're going to get protein at lunch. They're going to have protein at dinner for sure. So I don't know. I just put less focus on that. And now my focus is just on like, I want real ingredients in their food.
Same. Yeah.
So I don't care exactly what it is, but it has to be real. So
Yeah, just make it.
yeah. The
I
other
agree with that.
thing you and I were talking about it's interesting, like the U.S. would always be like, don't eat dessert before dinner. Like you always have to like have your
like you only get dessert if you
eat a good
well.
meal, right? And you have to kind of finish your plate or whatever, is being served, and then you can have dessert. Where here, and actually this is another change I think we've adopted also from you talking about it, and my husband kind of eats like this now, is like the goûter. Like the dessert is like, we'll have dessert, the kids too, at like 4:00, but then not have anything after dinner. And I find it's like a lot better for the kids because they're not like all running around on sugar, and they kind of have something to look forward to after school. It's like a treat versus like waiting until 7-8 o'clock at night and then they get their treat and they're probably not even hungry,
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's hard to get kids to sleep if they've had
So
like
much
ice
sugar.
cream or something right before bed.
Yeah.
But no, I would say like my daughter has something in the US that would be called unhealthy.
Yeah.
Every single day after school. Like she'll have, usually during the week, I always buy like a packaged cookie of some sort, but I like usually make like a little yogurt, like a little cake, like a homemade cake. I try to have like a homemade
That's awesome.
cookie or cake because I don't know. I would prefer to give her that.
sure.
And it's pretty easy to make. It lasts the whole week.
Yep.
And then of course, like if we're like out for sports on Wednesday
Yes.
or whatever, like I'll bring like a packaged thing. But she has like cookie, cake, or chocolate every single day of the week, I would say.
Yeah. Same with my kids.
And I don't know, like she likes to come home from school and have that, and it's fine. And then after dinner, we have like, she has a plain yogurt or some fruit. Sometimes she'll ask like for randomly she'll ask for like some chocolate or something. But when she does, I just let her have it. Like the other night she had some chocolate eggs left from Easter, and she's like, would it be okay if I had like 2 chocolate eggs? And I'm like, sure, like, go ahead.
It. Yeah.
And it's nice. And it's also nice that like dessert isn't like implied as being like chocolate or sugar, because so often it's just fruit here.
Yes,
and
totally.
That's what they have at school too. So it's kind of reinforced that like dessert doesn't mean like ice cream or brownies or cookies,
Or something like super indulgent, like the candy drawer,
Yeah.
Which I gave my kids, I think I told you, like full access
Yeah,
to candy,
you
and now
did.
they like don't even look at it. So I don't know. There's something to that. But I think the other thing I was getting questions. I was recently in the U.S. and my sister-in-law actually was like, wow, this must be so nice. Like there's actually like kids menus in the U.S. She was saying, she's like, I bet your kids in France have to like eat like the fancy French food like every time they go out. And I was like, no, there's kids menus on almost, I would say 90% of menus. Don't you think in France?
I mean, if you're at any
like
kind of bistro,
not a Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah, like if you're not at like a more upscale, like whatever type of restaurant, even sometimes they'll have a kids menu too. But I would say that's like one big misconception is that people think like when you go to a restaurant, French kids are eating all the French food. And it's like, no, they're having the menu enfant, which is kids menu. And there's almost always two options. It's either chicken nuggets or a steak haché, which is like basically the hamburger without the bun.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
And then they can have French fries. Some places will say you could have French fries or pasta.
Yeah.
It always comes with a sirop, which is water with like sugar syrup added to it of different whatever flavor you choose. And then dessert is like a scoop of ice cream.
Yes.
Which is very like kid friendly kid menu. So that's what kids eat at restaurants.
Yes.
And it's cheaper. Like
it's a lot cheaper.
I feel like it's pretty similar to the US.
I think it's very similar to the US. I think there's probably more options on kids menu in the US. Like they could get hot dogs or they could get mac and cheese or
grilled cheese. Grilled cheese is always
a big deal. So I guess if you're traveling here, don't worry about that. Like in general,
there's definitely,
and it's in Italy too. Like it's everywhere. I've noticed. Like it's not just France that has like great kids menus. But I would say it's also interesting to your point of like kids trying new things. My son is 8, and now if he doesn't want something on the like menu enfant, like kids menu, he's like really into like magret de canard, like the duck breast. It's like his favorite thing. And it's so bizarre for like, I would say an American child to probably order that off a menu. But if he sees that on the menu, now he's like, can I please have that? Yes.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. And it's delicious. So I do think they're willing to like venture out a little bit more now that they're exposed to it at school and in other places. So I think that's also a good thing. Okay. I think the last thing we wanted to talk about was just like the snacking culture differences.
Yes,
this is always, I think this is so interesting. Why don't you start?
Okay, I feel like in France, people have ingredients in their fridge and in their pantries as opposed to ready to eat, ready to go foods in general.
Yes.
Like I do have some ready to go stuff. Like I have the quiche crust, which is, you can make your own quiche crust, whatever, but they're so easy to just buy and do the quiche and then you can have an easy dinner. But I don't have a lot of like packaged snacks or like we were talking about the pre-cut fruit and vegetables because Kim and I were saying that my favorite thing to buy in the U.S. was when you're making like a sauce or whatever and you need the onions and the carrots and the celery and you can buy like the
all cut up together.
I forget, what do they call it? Like there's a name for it.
Yeah.
And when you can just buy that all together and dump it into the pan.
It's so
even with
easy.
The pre-cut garlic, like just makes it so easy.
I mean, what I wouldn't do to have chopped onions that I could just buy. Anything.
Same.
But everything in France, like you're
chopping yourself.
You're chopping a lot.
I'm like every day when I make lunch, I'm chopping for like 20 minutes.
Yes, you're chopping for 20 minutes easily.
So we were saying we missed that, but it's just, you go to the store here and there's not these pre options. And I don't think there's really a market here for it because people aren't willing to pay extra for convenience. Whereas in the US, I just feel like everyone is so rushed and busy all the time.
For sure.
You're more than willing to pay extra for convenience.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's one of the big differences. I always also notice, I think you've noticed this too, the amount of like snacks marketed to kids in the grocery stores.
In the US.
In the US.
Yes.
So like, you have mini bags of pretzels, mini bags of chips, Go-Gurts, little
Pirate's
like mini
Booty.
Pirate's Booty. Everything comes in small packages that you can throw into a bag and your kids can eat. And here, like a bag of chips, I've never seen a mini bag of chips in France.
Actually,
have you?
I have not either.
You only
large
can buy
bags.
a normal size bag of chips. And if you go into the aisle in the US, you have like the normal size bag of chips,
Then
but
it's next to the jumbo.
Then you have the jumbo size bag of chips. And so like that kind of stuff, like if you go in the cookie aisle, there's tons of packaged
for sure.
stuff in France for sure. and you'll see some of the cookies are definitely geared towards kids. Like there's one that has like dinosaurs.
For sure.
There's
Peppa
ones with like
Pig
cow,
ones.
the little bears. You know, it definitely exists, but you buy the whole pack.
Yes.
You don't get like a convenient thing where like 2 cookies come out. And there are a few brands like the Petit Écolier.
Yes.
They make a snack pack. And then there's another one called like Prince. You can get like a 2-pack of those. So it exists, but I would say it's like 3% of that.
Yes.
And so basically if you're buying a pack of cookies, you're buying the whole pack of cookies and then you take it out and you're putting it into like a,
for sure,
I don't know, a lunchbox.
Little bento box
like
thing.
something like that. You're not just getting like, there's not like a drawer of like snacks that you can pass out. And I've noticed in the US, everyone has
the snack,
many, like the snack drawer with so many snacks
for sure,
ready to go.
And kids like know where the snack drawer is. They know if they're hungry to just grab
something quick from the snack.
And it's so, go ahead.
And honestly, I feel like the thing that I hate doing is like sometimes, you know, when everyone's hungry, it's just like, I'm hungry. I want something. And then I have to like go like cut up an apple or do that. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I just had the snack drawer.
Pantry.
I was like, just go help yourself. This is why we go through so many string cheeses, because they sell string cheese here. And for me, that's like my easy. I'm like, just grab a string cheese out of the fridge. And then the other day I was cleaning my bedroom and I found like 3 string cheese wrappers on the floor. And I'm like, when I was reading last night, she ate 3 string cheeses. Like, poor thing. Like,
she was starving.
Like, she definitely didn't eat enough dinner.
I think on the string cheese note, I think you and I are the only ones in France that buy string cheese.
I know, I think so.
And they're like really hidden. They're only at like one grocery store chain.
They're so good though. Do you ever eat them?
I eat them all the time.
I eat them all the time too, but it only comes with 4 in the pack.
I know,
which is ridiculous.
Like, 4 is the most you can buy in one pack,
and it's so expensive.
I
think it's like €4 for 4 string cheeses, and I'm buying like 3 packs at a time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like half my grocery budget.
I did tell a French mom, and she goes, "What is that?" And I was like, "You like peel the cheese." She's like, "Why would you ever do that?" Like it was probably just, especially when the cheese is so good here, you know, like it is a little like. But I think you got to keep some like convenience.
Yeah.
Things,
so this is my equivalent of the snack drawer. It's the section in our fridge with the string cheese. Help yourself.
I was saying to Isabella, like we in the US, I definitely had the snack pantry, and even at a young age, the kids know where it is. So if they're hungry after school, we're on the go in between like sports activities. I'm like throwing the snacks into my purse and we're going out the door. Mm-hmm. But now it's like when the kids come home from school, like now my daughter would prefer like just a little plate of like a mix of different things. So like it's like whatever fruits in season. Like right now I'm cutting up strawberries, putting some cherries, the little sausage sticks.
Those are so good.
Those, and then like sometimes like a compote, like the yogurt type of thing. And then usually like something kind of that would be considered unhealthy, like Peppa Pig cookies, or I'll put like a few potato chips or something. But it's just like more of a mix, I would say, than like just here's your bag of Skinny Pop, you know?
Yeah. I think one other thing that I've adapted here is because kids eat in courses at school, they're used to not having like a plate with everything on it at the same time.
Yeah, that's so true.
And so I've noticed that it's really helpful to like sometimes I'll just cut up cucumbers, tomatoes, whatever, like kind of while I'm cooking dinner, I'll cut up like a plate of vegetables and just put it on the counter. And often my daughter will eat the whole thing before we've even had dinner. And then I'm like, oh, this is great because now she's had like a bunch of vegetables, and
I do.
Then we'll have dinner, and there's no, because you know, I don't know, she doesn't always like what kind of vegetable I've made with dinner, and it just takes the pressure off.
Yes,
and I really like that method, and I feel like it's a good time to eat the vegetables before you have your meal.
Sure.
Because you're hungry and something's there to eat. And
yes, I do the same thing, except mine has ranch dressing with the cucumbers and carrots.
Oh, nice.
Because I've unfortunately trained my daughter to love ranch dressing that I basically...
Ranch dressing is so good.
Anytime I go to the U.S., I'm buying it in bulk and bringing it back. But yes, I do the same thing. I just put it out, put the ranch dressing like on the side, and she'll like eat that whole thing. Or even my son will like grab carrots as he's like doing something. And then if we're making like Brussels sprouts or something, they're not going to eat. Yeah. Easy. So
you're making Brussels sprouts?
I love making Brussels sprouts.
I've never made Brussels sprouts myself.
They're so
I like getting them like at a restaurant when they're like crispy with pork.
But you can make that. It's so easy at home.
Really?
Yeah. I'll teach you how.
Okay.
Don't worry. Anything else? I think that kind of concludes our topic on how kids eat in France. Anything else?
I could add one more thing. I will say it's like always like kind of funny when I go to the US with my daughter because there's so many foods, because she's used to eating the food we have over here. There's a lot of foods in the US that she won't eat. Like she won't eat the yogurt there, which is strange because I'll buy like Greek yogurt there and you think it's the same, but she won't eat it.
She can taste the difference?
I don't know. She just won't eat it.
Okay.
She won't eat it. She doesn't like, my mom buys these like vanilla Sky or something. Like she won't eat that. We stopped to get fast food recently. We were on my last trip, we did a lot of driving around. So we were driving from New York to New Hampshire, and we had just like, there was a lot of traffic. We were on the road for a while, and we pulled over at Wendy's to get lunch, and we like headed to the drive-thru, and my daughter was like, no, like we can't eat in the car, because I was like, we'll just eat in the car. And I was so ready to have like a burger in the car, whatever. And she was like, no, we can't do that. We need to go sit down at a table inside. Wow. And me and my mom looked at each other and we were like, what? Like, she's 5 years old. And we were like, okay. And so we went, and honestly, like, it was nice. Like, we went inside and we sat down and we ate our meal, and then we got back in the car and we drove.
So
and like,
cute.
I don't know. I always grew up like on road trips eating.
Me too. Always
in the car. My mom never wanted to go and eat inside a McDonald's. She was like,
same.
no, we'll just
never did
eat
that.
as we go, you know?
You should tell the story. It's also interesting, your daughter, when you were in a rush and you tried to do breakfast in the car.
Oh yeah. Like a lot of times we were having a moment where we're very late to school, and I'd be like, okay, here, like take your toast to the car. And she's like, no.
She want a plate?
Yeah. She wants to sit down while she eats. And I'm like, you know what? She's right.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the French way of actually like sitting down, like letting your food process, it leads to like less overeating. It goes back to our like intuitive eating conversation of like your body has cues that it's not hungry anymore because you're not eating so quickly.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think it's great. So.
The other thing is like pizza in the US, she doesn't like as much because she's used to getting pizza here, which is mainly tomato sauce.
Like with real tomato sauce.
With just like you know, when you get like a real margarita pizza, and it's like mainly tomato sauce with like little bits of mozzarella on it. And so then we go to the US and it's like fully covered in cheese. Like she's always like, what is this? Whereas to me, like, I love both.
Me too. I'm like, I could appreciate both of those.
Same. But yeah, I think that's all. But maybe just to draw back to the beginning, like when I first moved here, because a lot of the videos I made were on the school food. And I think when I was in the US, once I realized like the kind of difference of like, why aren't we giving kids better food? We have such a problem with people being so sick. And like, this is a real way to change that.
For sure.
And I think after like being here for a while and seeing the US, I'm not sure that I don't know what the solution is. And I don't think it's as easy as just all of a sudden like changing the menu and giving everyone healthy food, because if it's not reinforced, it's sort of like learning a language. Yeah. You can expose a child to a different language, but if there's no reinforcement in their day-to-day life, it doesn't stick. It's not going to stick.
No.
And I don't know. I think it's like a tall order to fix.
Agree.
Which sort of sounds depressing. I think that there's things that people can do on small levels. Like I've gotten a lot of messages from people, like the parents in my community decided we wanted to have like a garden, and
that's awesome.
We've done this initiative, and now we have like one day of the week where like kids are bringing in food. Great. And I think there's like small changes, but when it comes from the community, I just feel like it has such a better chance of working as opposed to one person making a decision. Yeah. It's just not going to work. It has to really be a group effort, and it has to be everyone wanting the same thing. And if everyone doesn't want the same thing, I think it's a really hard change to make.
I agree. I think it's also like deeply ingrained in like cultural dynamic, right? Like I think, you know, two really busy like working parents in the US, like they're willing to pay up for convenience. They're willing to like, and I get it. I mean, I did all the time. Like it was just, you do anything to make your life like just a touch easier, especially when you have kids. Like it's anything you can do, which is, I think, why the snack culture is so different. Like there's just less time.
Like imagine, you know, like both parents are working.
For sure.
You come home, you can either spend like 30 minutes in the kitchen cooking, or you could spend 30 minutes with your kids that you haven't seen all day. And like, oh my gosh, I would choose spending time with my kids in a heartbeat.
Than chopping an onion, you know?
Exactly. Yes. Like I would be like, okay, whatever, like frozen pizza, let's go.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I get it. I mean,
and so I just feel like it is so different.
Yeah, it's very different. And I don't think, look, I think to me, and this is my own personal, like I prefer the way we're eating here, like 10 out of 10 times than the way we eat in the US. And so I just think there is some things like I believe in taking like good and bad from both cultures.
Yeah.
But this is like one of the things I'm like, no, this is actually like a really good thing here that I agree. It's very hard to like want to go back to eating the other way.
And you just like, you just sort of feel better.
You feel better all the time. Yeah. It's really true. It's amazing. Even just like little things, like my mom saw me and she's like, your skin looks amazing. Like, what are you doing differently? And I'm like, nothing.
Your
like,
skin does look amazing.
No, thank you. I think she's just being nice.
No,
but like,
no. I'm serious. Your skin looks really good.
But I think it's like inside out, right? It's like what I'm eating is like much better. And I'm like, I try so much more to not rush and stress as I was in the US. I think that makes a difference.
I think it makes a difference too. And I think like just, you know, having you can't deny that the food system in the US has way more additives and preservatives and everything. And it's a big country and food has to last for a long time. And the whole method of shopping is you shop once a week. So the food needs to last for a week, week and a half. Here, it's really like you shop all the time and food expires and goes bad quickly.
Yep.
But it has a huge effect on your gut health, I think. And, you know, your gut is so connected to your mind, and things like depression and everything can really be like the side effect of a heavily processed diet. And when you eliminate that, your body just feels better. And I think you don't need as much like protein as people say you do in the US and all these like fad diets, and it just kind of normalizes. And I think your body feels better. Good. My body's felt so good since I've moved here.
That's awesome.
Whereas in the US, I was always like, I couldn't eat bread. I was bloated. I would get so bloated. I would be, I don't know. Like I thought I was being super healthy, but when I look back, I'm like, it's crazy.
I know. Even like the stuff you think is really healthy. Like I buy salmon from Whole Foods and I'm like, that was definitely dyed farm raised salmon. And I just thought I was like feeding my family something really good. You know what I mean?
Like my thing was like the chickpea pasta. I was like, like I should eat, if I'm going to eat pasta, let's have chickpeas because there's more fiber. And I'm like, why am I just not having like a small regular sized serving of regular pasta? Sure. And then I would have like stomach aches and, you know, it's just like all the artificial fiber. It's like, that's not doing anything. You know what I mean?
It's so interesting because like, even it's like all this like cauliflower flour, like stuff to avoid carbs.
Oh my gosh, the cauliflower pizza crust.
The cauliflower pizza crust. So great. I used to like get that all the time. Yeah. And now here, you just like wouldn't see anything like that. It's like just eat real food, like real bread on the pizza, and just don't eat like the whole pizza.
Totally. I actually, that just like made me remember this memory of first apartment me and my husband lived in when I first moved to Paris. Okay. And I was like, couldn't find cauliflower pizza crust anywhere.
You were looking for this?
Yeah, of course. I loved cauliflower pizza crust. And so I cooked a cauliflower. I like steamed the cauliflower. And then I remember standing at the kitchen sink, like squeezing it out over like, cause you know, it has so much water in it. You have to squeeze it and squeeze it. And I was in there for like 20 minutes trying to squeeze all the water out. And I remember like having this image in my head and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Why am I not just having regular pizza?
Not to mention how crazy your husband probably thought
he was probably like, what is this girl doing? I mean,
I know.
It was so weird. And I'm like, okay, I just made us pizza.
Totally.
It's very thin. It's sort of burned. And it took me 3 hours to make the dough. Like, here's dinner.
And you were saving, a few carbs and calories? Like,
I'm just like, what?
Really? Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't even think in my head I was like trying to save carbs or calories, but I was like, this is just healthier because it's vegetables and it's thin and crispy and I don't know, but I never made cauliflower pizza crust again after that, ever.
It's amazing.
And the next time I went to the US, I looked at the ingredients in the cauliflower pizza crust. Is it all
processed?
It was all processed crap.
Yeah. Better off just eating real bread.
I haven't had cauliflower pizza crust in 9 years now.
Same. I think it's like I haven't had it in so long, and now I'm like I would just prefer real bread. So I'm with you.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Share this episode if you liked it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye.